Greetings from Southern Yankee Homestead. If this is your first time, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Well, as the title dictates, we are making an attempt at making a Christmas ham. We're within the 12 days of Christmas. We're actually 11 days when we're getting this started. So we're going to do a hybrid version. I've looked at a couple different recipes and we're going to kind of mix and match a little bit. Reason I'm doing that is because, well, we're not doing a standard pork roast. That's right, we're doing venison. Which brings us to our first ingredient. Smile. Alright, so the first ingredient is going to be some form of meat, whether it be a pork butt, whatever, bone in. We took the bone out of that, just a straight roast. Rump roast slash ham. It's from the upper part where the ball is, basically down to the knee. Cut out the bone and a little bit of the meat just to square it up. It came out to 4 pounds and 1 ounce. So you can scale this recipe one way or the other. Now, we're also going to need brown sugar, coarse salt, pickling spice, molasses, pink curing salt, either number 1 or number 2. It bounces back and forth. Apple juice, naturally water, measuring spoons, measuring cups, several different types. So we're going to start, well, I already started. In the background I put the teapot on and we got some hot water. One of the recipes calls for 4 tablespoons of number 1 curing salt. The other one's 2.5 tablespoons of number 1 curing salt. They're both using approximately 12-pound hams. So I'm cutting this in a third as far as the curing salt goes. The rest of it I'm going to keep the same. We just don't need that much curing salt. So if I go by 2.5 tablespoons of number 1 curing salt for 12 pounds, that will be around 3 teaspoons for 4 pounds. So we're just going to start with the pink curing salt. One. Yeah, 2. 3. 1.5 cups of kosher salt. Hopefully I got 1.5 cups of coarse kosher salt left. Uh-oh, this ain't good. I've got less than 3/4 of a cup. Here's some sea salt from Gozo in the Mediterranean. That didn't matter. Hey, hon. Yeah? I'm going to have to run to the store. Why? I don't have all the ingredients. What you missing? Half the salt. Huh? Half of the salt. Salt? Be right back. So, as I was saying before, 1.5 cups of salt. Going off the 2 recipes, one recipe calls for 1.5 cups, the other calls for 2 cups of brown sugar. Well, I got a small bag here, so we're going to go with 1.5 cups of packed brown sugar. Yeah, it's close enough to half. Alright, at this point, one recipe calls for 1/4 cup of molasses, the other's a cup. Since we use the other one's sugar, we're going to go ahead and use this one's molasses. So we're going to use 1 cup of molasses. Now we did the molasses last because we're going to use hot water to mix all this together. And we're going to use the hot water to help clean this out. 4 cup. Now we're going to sit here and stir until we get all this yumminess dissolved, or as best as we can dissolved. If need be, we'll add a little bit more water. Now with this still hot and mostly dissolved, we're going to move to the pickling spice. We have 2 partial bottles of pickling spice. So we're going to go with 1 full bottle, 1.5 ounce. So a full bottle of pickling spice. And we're going to do it like a tea. You don't have to do it this way, but this is the way we're going to do it. So what I have is coffee filters. You can do this with, cheesecloth, but we don't have any cheesecloth, so we're using what we got. And realistically, you could just pour it into the container. Nothing wrong with that either. This is baker's twine, and all we're doing is making a tea bag. Alright, 1 tea bag, jumbo size. The long string will come in later. Alright, so it's been about 10 minutes. This is cooling down pretty good. What we're going to do is we're going to add about 3 cups of ice, because we want to bring this down to temperature because we don't want to cook ham yet. Just want to season it. Part of letting it cool for 15 minutes also is so that we can get good dissolving of the brine. Oh. And while I'm thinking of it, I also added 2 more cups of hot water. So a total of 6 cups of hot water. Because don't forget, we got to be able to cover the entire... We got to be able to cover the entire piece of meat that we're putting in here. So we're just waiting for the ice to dissolve. Alright, that's good enough. Now, for curing this, you need a food grade container big enough to hold your liquid plus your meat. Well, just so happens, Firehouse Subs sells pickle buckets. Food grade containers. That one still smells like Thanksgiving. So we're going to take this entire thing and pour it right into our 5-gallon bucket. And hope, I know, oh no, let's hope Papa doesn't pour it on the floor. Still a little sugar in there that's not dissolved yet. Which is fine.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
No. Yeah, fine. No, Mom. Oh, I can do fine. No, white.
Yeah, brown water. You say brown?
I don't want to boil.
Alright, and to this, we're going to add apple juice. No, leave that alone, Eve. We're going to start with 4 cups. Watch out. Get your hand out. I don't think that's quite deep enough for what we're planning, but it's a start. No, Eve. Not yet, but it's about to be. Eve, look out. Watch out. I know. So here's our 4-pound roast. Just gonna go ahead and let her plop down in there. Oh, I think we got it just right.
Oh.
Yeah, we're gonna need to bring it up just a little bit. So we're gonna use. We're gonna use enough apple juice.
Is the video on her too?
Oh yeah.
Take your hands out of there.
So we're gonna use enough apple juice to go ahead and cover this. Yeah.
Apple juice.
No touchy. No touch.
Yeah, apple juice. Not to touch anything.
Now we're just going to take a bowl. It's about the same size as the bucket. And we're going to use that to weight the meat down. Yeah? What she said. And at this point, we're going to lid it.
Lid it. Put the lid on.
Yeah, we're going to lid it. So as Hun said, we're going to put the lid on, then we're going to take this out to the garage refrigerator, and we'll be back in about 10 days. Why 10 days if we're 11 days out? 24 hours prior to us cooking this, we're going to go ahead and drain off all the brine, and we're going to water it, just straight water. We're going to go in every couple days probably, use a chopstick and just flip the meat, that way where the bowl is sitting and where the bottom is, make sure everything gets brine on it and there's no seals keeping stuff from brining. I haven't made it out to the garage yet, but this is how I found Eve when I turned around after talking on the camera. Say hi, hon.
You're in for some trouble.
Well, it's been it's been 10 days. Yeah, a week and a half, and unfortunately I forgot to turn the camera on.
Wow, look at me. Look, Papa's got you on the camera.
Eve, say hi.
Hi.
So we got the ham, I don't know. Well, here's the ham after 10 days in the stew pot. So right now I have the charcoal grill going. Well, actually, I got the charcoal heating. We'll be heating the grill up here in a little bit. We're going to give the meat about a half hour to rest in the sink. And then we're going to plate it into some bowl to kind of collect the juices. We didn't soak this ham 24 hours because the recipe we're using uses more sugar than salt, so I'm not really worried about the salt content as much. Yeah, we're hoping it's sweet and savory. We'll see. The grill's been going for a while now. We're going to go ahead and give her a good scrubbing. On the side we're going to, well, yeah. So, what we have, we're doing this over charcoal and we're going to be smoking it. And I put it in an old pie tin just to collect the juices. And then we're going to top that off. Let me get what we have in this container is some white oat chunks that have been soaking in a whiskey water. We're going to close her up and let her go. And in case I didn't mention it, this is the day before Christmas. We're smoking this right now because, well, we want to get a good long slow cook on it. I got to monitor my temperature very careful for at least the next 6 to 8 hours. Hopefully I don't overcook it, but that's one of the reasons why I have the pan underneath it. We won't get as much smoke into the meat, but we'll keep the juices so that we can rebaste it as it shrinks down. And then we can use the juices for other stuff as well. When we are out of white oak, I do have some cherry that I'm soaking. This is cherry harvested from our own property. So we're going to do a combination of white oak and cherry for this. See how it goes. I guess we'll be back in, what, 6 or 8 hours, approximately. Well, it's been 6 or 7 hours. It's about 7 o'clock at night now. I think we're going to pull the ham in for the evening because, well, it's getting late. I'm not going to load it up and spend more time out here. It's getting ready for the baby to go to bed. So we're going to finish this off in the oven. As far as cook times on hams, use your best judgment online because, I could say we've got 6 or 7 hours in this, but we're going to still cook it for 2 hours tomorrow, maybe 3. Depends on the size of the ham. That's why I'm not going to tell you how long we're necessarily supposed to cook it. We're just getting a good smoke on it. Here's what it looks like. Very little juices at the bottom, but there's some juices. She's starting to get juicy. So I'm going to take this in, tent it in foil, let it cool, and then we're going to go ahead and reheat it tomorrow in the oven and see if we did any good. Fingers crossed.
This over to your thing right here, to your board. There. Get all of this out of the way. Are we keeping this juice?
It's going to be
Probably
salty,
not, yeah.
savory. I'd probably just...
Trash.
Yep.
She asked if the little dog could go out with big dogs. I said yes. Millie is her name. Just separate before you leave.
So now that we're pressing record, it has a little bit different texture than ham. It's more like a roast beef, but it's got a definite ham flavor there.